sentence and we can discuss it. So this then is the dual possibility that arises before us. Now, what is Sridhar discussing? Whether the physical world is real or unreal. Okay. So this is the question that strikes you, because in the spiritual experience, you are seeing that the physical world is unreal. You can't doubt that. So the serious doubt comes up. All human beings are seeing the physical world as absolutely real. I am seeing an apple and I am eating it. How can it be unreal? Okay. Absolutely real. I am meeting somebody and talking with him and even embracing and exchanging words. So it can't be unreal. So, and when you go to the spiritual level of consciousness, you see the physical world as unreal. So what is the problem? So this is there are two solutions to this is not solution, but possibilities. Okay. When you are there and you are puzzled. Sridhar solved the problem, of course, but this is the two cases he is discussing. This then is a dual possibility that arises before us. The solution he will give in the next chapter. So he is only stating the problem and the possible solutions. There is, we may suppose, look at that, okay? We may suppose, that's solution number one, okay? An original consciousness and power, creative of illusions and unrealities, with mind as its instrument or medium in the human and animal consciousness, so that the differentiated universe we see is unreal, a fiction of Maya, and only some indeterminable, undifferentiated absolute is real. So let's look at all the words one by one. First possibility, the supreme reality itself is creating an unreality, like the Mayavadins are saying and the Buddhists are saying. So that is clearly a possibility. Is that an absolute possibility at the highest level? That he will discuss later on. So we may suppose the first solution is an original consciousness and power. Okay, it's an original consciousness and power, not necessarily a real or unreal. He is not discussing. It's a consciousness which is creative of illusions, only illusions and unrealities. And who is saying that? Mind as an instrument or medium in the human and animal consciousness, so that the differentiated universe, very clear, the world of multiplicity. When something is differentiated, there are differences. So there are the many, and that means the world of multiplicity, which means the physical universe. So we have to get behind the word differentiated university, the material universe. We see is unreal, a fiction of Maya, okay, and only some indeterminable, undifferentiated absolute is real. So there is the Mayavada theory. So and the Buddhist theory. So it's a possibility. Should we take that as the absolute? That he will discuss in the next chapter. Now, or there is a second possibility. Or there is, we may equally suppose, both are equally valid. And what is that second possibility? An original, a supreme or cosmic truth consciousness. In the first one, he has not spoken about truth consciousness. He has spoken about a consciousness which is creating illusions. Okay. Now he is talking about the cosmic truth consciousness, the supermind, creative of a true universe, but with mind acting in that universe as an imperfect consciousness, ignorant, partly knowing, partly not knowing, a consciousness which is by its ignorance or limitation of knowledge capable of error, misrepresentation, mistaken or misdirected development from the known, of uncertain gropings towards the unknown, of partial creations and buildings, a constant half position between truth and error, knowledge and nations. So this is actually his solution. He's saying that there can be, to put it in very simple words, one is there is a high consciousness which is creating illusions. Okay, so but there is also a undifferentiated absolute. Okay? So an undifferentiated absolute, you have to go there. There is a Mayavada theory. Okay, but the second one is interesting. The supreme reality is creating real things. The world is not unreal. It is creating the consciousness. Supermind is, I'm using the word supermind, is not using that. The supermind is creating real forms in the physical world. But you are not able to see them because you are using wrong instruments. And therefore there can be mistakes. Okay, that's what he's saying. And it is half knowledge and half truth. It's an evolving consciousness. So these are the two solutions that he's offering. Clear, no? So we may equally suppose an original, a supreme or a cosmic truth consciousness, creative of a true universe, but with mind acting in that universe as an imperfect consciousness. There is a medium consciousness, and you later on he will tell you that you have the power to change that medium consciousness also. You can make it, you can go higher up and change it. Now, and he is describing the normal condition of man, acting in the universe as an imperfect consciousness, ignorant, partly knowing, partly not knowing, a consciousness which is by its ignorance or limitation of knowledge. So he is defining ignorance as a limitation of knowledge, capable of error, misrepresentation, mistaken or misdirected development from the known, or uncertain gropings towards the unknown. All these differences, small differences, all are in ignorance and knowledge, both, a little bit of both, or partial creations and buildings, a constant half position between truth and error. This is a perfect definition of science, a constant half position between truth and error, knowledge and nations. But this ignorance, in fact, proceeds. He is discussing the second solution. This ignorance, in fact, proceeds, however stumblingly, upon knowledge and towards knowledge. So this whole sentence, there is an evolution. But this ignorance, in fact, proceeds, however stumblingly, very slowly, and being full of mistakes, upon knowledge and towards knowledge. So evolution is there. In the first one, there is no evolution. In the second one, there is an evolution. It is inherently capable of shedding the limitation, the mixture, and can turn by that liberation into the truth consciousness. The mind of man is imperfect, but it can become absolutely perfect. It has that capacity. There is a second solution. Into a power of the original knowledge. Our inquiry has so far led rather in the second direction. We are, whatever we have been examining carefully, we see that the second possibility is more possible than the first one. Okay? The second proposition is more possible than the first one. It points towards the conclusion that the nature of our consciousness is not of a character that would justify the hypothesis of a cosmic illusion as the solution of this problem. The Mayavada problem is, the Mayavada solution is not very satisfying. How can the divine produce something unreal? Remember, if you don't have the divine, if you don't have the divine as your ideal, then this is absolutely possible. In fact, the materialist also thinks that there is no divine. And that's why here the problem. The existentialist says this is the nature of the world, we can't help it. Okay? But if you are starting from the Vedantic conception that there is a consciousness, right in the reality, in the fourth chapter, reality omnipresent, we have started with that. So we can't come to the conclusion that Mayavada is true. But if you start with the materialist concept, then the Mayavada solution is possible. A problem exists, but it consists in the mixture of knowledge with ignorance in our cognition of self and things. It is the origin of this imperfection that we have to discover. From where is this ignorance coming? We have to discover. Why are we making a mistake? Why are we seeing this? What is the origin of this distortion? What is the origin of imperfect instruments? It is the origin of this imperfection that we have to discover. There is no need of bringing in an original power of illusion, always mysteriously existent in the eternal reality, or else intervening and imposing a world of non-existent forms on a consciousness or superconscious that is forever pure, eternal and absolute. The Mayavada solution, you can take it, but it's not essentially that's the only solution. There are other solutions, and I prefer Srindu is saying the second solution. The second solution is that there is an absolute reality producing real forms, but man, the consciousness which is evolving, is not seeing the truth because it's halfway to the truth. But it is capable of rising to the highest level, which the existentialists deny. This is the permanent nature of the physical world. There is suffering, there is perversion. You have to accept it. That's their stand, but not the spiritual stand. So, what does it mean? That means to say we have to see the nature of the ignorance. From where is the ignorance come? It is not that the world is unreal. As I said, if you use philosophical words, the epistemology and the ontology. Ontology is to see the nature of reality. What is real and what is unreal. Okay. The problem exists even in the physical world. Okay. Like we see, the sky is blue. So even ordinary man, even science has got a problem of what is, he has to define what is reality and what is unreality. Okay. So, so this is the problem Srindu is telling very clearly is to find out how this ignorance is coming. The world is real. I start from that. So, how is, if the world is real, why am I saying it wrong? Because there's an ignorance. From where is ignorance coming? That's the next chapter. Reality and a cosmic illusion. And this is not a very easy chapter, but just 1 second, let me go to read and see how many pages it is. I think it is one of those chapters which I found very difficult, and we will only give you we'll read, we'll go through it, okay? Because we must never shirk and run away from those texts. But I can tell you that it's quite difficult, okay? So, just 1 minute, let me see let me see I want to see how many pages it is, this one. If it is the same one that I'm talking about. Just 1 second. Yeah, okay, just 1 second.
In my old book, it is 35 pages.
Yes, that's right. That's what I'm checking.
A new book
455.
will have maybe 40 pages.
Yeah, so even if I take knowledge and ignorance is 500, is 499, it comes to 45 pages. So 45 pages is a huge thing. Now I'll tell you how he is dealing with this problem, okay? So that we have an overview of it. And then he will go into tremendous details. And it's not very easy. So I'll tell you just this today. It is already 8:23. Okay. So what he is going to examine is this. There is the physical world. Whether you exist or not, whether I exist or not, it is not at all the problem. There is a physical world which exists. Then there is a consciousness which is experiencing this world. So there is something to be known, and there is a consciousness which is the knower. But this knower is going on using instruments of knowledge to know what it is seeing. So there are three things to be seen. One is the knower, that's a consciousness, and that consciousness goes on taking different forms from the lowest to the highest. At the lowest, it is the cell, the human cell. That also, there is the tendency to know, okay, that I'm putting in a very blank manner, but you have to start from there. Then it comes to a worm, then it comes to a microbe, or first microbe and then worm, and then a caterpillar, and then a cat, dog, man, okay, then a yogi, then an avatar, and finally the divine consciousness. So there is a evolution, and at each level the instruments of knowledge are different. Number one. So there is a knower, which is a gradation from the lowest level to the highest level. Even the caterpillar, and he is trying to know. He is struggling, he is moving, and he is saying what to eat, what not to eat. There is a problem. Okay. Then, so there is a knower, and there is something to be known, object and subject. And there is a process of knowledge which connects the two. And for this connection, you need instruments. So this we have to start from in this chapter. Now he says, we have to examine one by one, where is this ignorance coming from? Where is the mistake coming from? So, is the world unreal? And if it is unreal, we are seeing it through instruments. So, is the instrument responsible or is the knower responsible? Okay, this is case number one. Okay, so all this I'm telling you 45 pages. Okay, so this is what he examines one by one. So, case number one, the world is real or unreal, and we are looking at it. So this is the case number one. The world is, okay, let's start with world is unreal. So if the world is unreal, is the instrument of knowledge defective or is the knower himself non-existent? And he's seeing this. This is number one. Then suppose the world is real, who is experiencing it? Is the knowledge response, the process responsible or the knower responsible? This he examines. Now, suppose he says that the physical world is real, he starts examining, then why are we seeing unreal? So is the knowledge, the process, the instrument responsible or is the knower responsible? So if you make all these combinations and permutations, you will see that there is a huge number of cases. So take three things and go on combining, and you will see how, I think 7 or 8 or 10, 15 cases he is examining one by one. And finally coming to the conclusion that the knower is also real and the world also is real. This is the final conclusion after this huge chapter. So then after that, the details are so many interesting things from where it is coming. He examines the nature of the mind, okay? Memory, ego, self-experience, knowledge by identity, and where is the ignorance coming from, boundaries of the ignorance, the origin of the ignorance, and then he tells you how it comes, from where it is coming. Okay? And the origin and remedy of falsehood, error, and wrong and evil. So then you go to part 2 of book 2, the knowledge and the spiritual evolution. So he has divided in that. First is the reality omnipresent. The second is that reality omnipresent, suddenly you are seeing it as unreality. So that's book 2, part 1. Then book 2, part 2 is the solution. From where is this knowledge, and because there is an evolution. This is how he has divided the whole lifetime. Okay. So I hope you understood what I am saying. Examination of each thing, okay, each possibility. Three things are there: the knower, the known, and the knowledge. So which is responsible for this problem? That's what he examines. So with this background, we have got 7 minutes still left, so we can start reading the, just 1 second. I've lost the pen. 1. Yeah. So I'll go to this chapter and then we'll read the first paragraph. You'll probably be able to do that today. You'll get a glimpse of what he is meaning. Yeah. So reality and the cosmic illusion. 455. This is what we have to read today. Okay? So let us start reading. Who will read?
Should I read?
Yes, do that. The eternal is true, the world is a lie. Go ahead. Reality and the cosmic illusion.
The eternal is true, the world is a lie. Viveka Chudamani. The master of Maya creates this world by his Maya, and within it is confined another. One should know his Maya as nature and the master of Maya as the great Lord of all. Shvetashvatavara Upanishad. The Purusha is all this, that is, what has been and what is yet to be. He is the master of immortality, and he is whatever grows by food. Shvetashvatara Upanishad. All is the divine being, Gita. But so far, so I stop here?
Go ahead.
Go ahead? Okay. But so far, we have only cleared a part of the foreground of the field of inquiry. In the background of the problem remains unsolved and entire. It is the problem of the nature of the original consciousness or power that has created or conceptually constructed or manifested the universe and the relation to it of our world cognition. In sum, whether the universe is a figment of consciousness imposed on our mind by a supreme force of illusion or a true formation of being experienced by us with a still ignorant but an increasing knowledge. And the true question is not of mind alone or of a cosmic dream or a cosmic hallucination born of mind, but of the nature of the reality, the validity of the creative action that takes place in it or is imposed upon it, the presence or absence of a real content in its or our consciousness and its or our regard on the universe. On behalf of illusionism, it can be answered to the position put forward by us with regard to the truth of existence, that all this might be valid within the bounds of cosmic illusion. It is the system, the pragmatic machinery by which Maya works and maintains herself in the ignorance. But the truth, possibilities, actualities of the cosmic system are true and actual only within the illusion. The illusion, outside that magic circle, they have no validity. They are not abiding and eternal realities. All are temporary figures, the works of knowledge no less than the works of ignorance. It can be considered that knowledge is a useful instrument of the illusion of Maya for escaping from herself, for destroying herself in the mind. Spiritual knowledge is indispensable, but the one true truth, the only abiding reality beyond all duality of knowledge and ignorance, is the eternal relationless absolute of the self, the eternal pure existence. All here turns on the mind's conception and the mental being's experience of reality. For according to the mind's experience or conception of reality will be its interpretation of data, otherwise identical, the facts of the cosmos, individual experience, the realization of supreme transcendence. All mental cognition depends on three elements: the percipient, the perception, and the thing perceived or percept. All or any of these three can be affirmed or denied reality. The question then is, which of these, if any, are real, and to what extent, or in what manner? If all three are rejected as instruments of a cosmic illusion, the further and consequent question arises: is there then a reality outside them? And if so, what is the relation between the reality and the illusion?
The basic question of the thing is coming down to that sentence where he says, the whole chapter depends on that. All mental cognition, not spiritual cognition or physical cognition, but mental cognition, there are three elements that come in. The percipient, who is the knower, the one who is perceiving, the perception, and the percept. The percept is the thing to be known, the object. The percipient is a subject, and the perception is that capacity which connects the two. So Surendra is saying, this is what we are going to examine in 45 pages. Whether all are real and all are unreal. All these possibilities are there. Or if all are not real and all are unreal, what are the combinations and permutations possible? Is it possible that the percept itself is unreal? So if it is unreal, the perception is responsible, case number one. Case number two, no, the perception is not responsible, the percipient is responsible. So then two cases already here. Now you start with the percept is not unreal but real. Then why are we seeing it as unreal? Case number four, perception is defective. Fifth case, no, the percipient is responsible. So like that it goes on examining, and so you have a huge number of combination permutations. That's what he's going to examine in 45 pages. So I've told you we'll identify also some of the what he is doing at which level. But it's a very complex thing, and one day I tried to make a chart. Okay, so take case number one, the world is unreal. Then it divides into two. If the world is unreal, who is responsible? The percipient is responsible, number one, or the perception is responsible. Then you come to the next one. Okay, and what are the possibilities there? The world is not unreal, but it is real. So who is responsible for seeing it as unreal? Is it the percipient or is it the perception? So you can imagine how complex it is. And each one he examines in great detail. Okay, so this is what we have already come to 1 minute past, and next time we'll start with the quotations from the Shankara. Viveka Chudamani, Viveka Chudamani. Chudamani, the crest jewel. Chuda is the summit and the mani is the jewel. So, and what is the jewel psychologically? What is the best crest jewel? It is the Viveka, discrimination, being able to see the reality and the unreality. So that's a Viveka Chudamani. It's a beautiful text of Shankara, and the second verse itself says, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. So that's what Surendra will discuss. It is misinterpreted actually, and the next two are from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. So we'll start with that next time. Oh, that is tomorrow itself. Okay, we'll do that tomorrow. Okay, so see you all tomorrow.
Merci beaucoup.